Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over our hero section design challenge number 1, which is to design some kind of hero which is split half and half, text on the left, image on the right, or vice versa. I have chosen to do an accountancy firm purely because I really hate it when people design trainer websites on Dribbble. Pet peeve. It's pretty pointless. No one's ever going to come to you and ask for a trainer website. Very, very unlikely. Whereas we know our accountants have got really terrible branding. They've got a really bad website that looks like a template built in 1998. So I would love to approach them and say, hey, we've mocked something up. We could build something like this for you. So this might actually be quite a worthwhile project to do. So always want to try and make it a bit real worldy. First thing I am going to do is I'm going to make my columns on here. I want a 12 column grid on here. I've got a 1440 width artboard and I want a 1200 width container for all of our content. So I'm going to hit layout grid. I'm going to change it from grid to columns. So it's 12. I'm going to make it not a disgusting red color, a margin of 120 and then maybe a gutter of 32, or maybe we'll leave that at 20 for now. We can update it later. So that has given us 1200 pixel container size there. So that's just our guides and we're going to stick all of our content in there. And we need some kind of headline, and I think something like we run the numbers so you can run the company. Nice little play on words there. I'm going to pick a font size of 64 and I'm going to do 10 on medium just because I'm in love with this font at the moment, and I'm going to set the line height to 110. I'm just going to drag this in a bit, something like this. So we're just going to kind of like loosely wireframe this first, and then we'll add some flair. And the reason I've chosen 64 is because 64 is my sort of default H1 size, so our biggest heading size, and that's based on the typography scale, which we've got another video on, which I will link up here. And this is just where we start every project. If we can run like this, then fantastic, because our Webflow template is already set up like this, which means quicker development, quicker life projects, money comes in quicker. So always trying to think ahead, how is this going to make the developer's life easier? And if we think in terms of SEO, this is actually a terrible headline. Nobody's going to be Googling that, are they? But somebody may Google something like expert accountants in London, UK. Maybe we'll put based in London, UK, because that makes it sound a bit better. So we could actually set this as our H1. Let's just turn our grids off. This can be set as our H1 and we can just make this look like an H1. So we make our H1 look like paragraph and we can make our paragraph look like an H1. And then in terms of heading tags for SEO, then we've nailed it, right? People might be searching for accountants based in London, UK. And this is going to give our guys a chance of showing up. So I think we're going to need a call to action, obviously. So I'm going to go hire us, sounds good. Shift A to auto layout that. I'm going to go 32 on the left and right, 16 top and bottom. I'm going to give it a fill and I'm just going to pick a little gray color for now. And then I think we want a secondary call to action. And I think like the second most important piece of information or action we're going to want users to take is to kind of look at some kind of social proof. So like read testimonials or stats or something like that. So maybe something like what our clients say might work. And then I'm just going to shift X on that, and that will change that fill to an outline. And actually I'm just going to change that outline to pure black for now. So we've got kind of like a main button and a ghost button. I'm going to auto layout those and put 12 pixels in between. So this is pretty good. What I want to do is I think I want to visually plonk these two together like this. So I'm going to use 16 pixels between. We always want to be using spacing system, which is divisible by 4 or 8. 16 looks great there. And then I'm going to do another auto layout with the buttons, and I'm going to make that maybe 64, something like that. That feels quite nice for now. And then it's a really good idea to actually get some kind of social proof above the fold. So above the fold is just the first thing that people can see when they load their screen. Obviously, we're saying who they are, right? They're expert accountants based in London. We're doing like a sort of a pun on the words here. So, you know, put a smile on people's face maybe, because, you know, accountancy is boring as hell. They know that they can just immediately hire them if they want, or they can go and read testimonials, but it might be nice to put a figure in here, like trusted by, and then we can put a number in. We can do something like this, trusted by, and then we can put a number of established businesses. So maybe we can do, I know, 657 established businesses, and we can set this up in the CMS in Webflow. So we can say, hey, look, every time you guys get a few more clients, just update this number so it looks good. Nobody's ever going to fact check it either, FYI. And let's just do something like this. Let's give it a fill. Just want to differentiate it. Maybe we can make that number count up in the development as well. I'm just going to give it a 1,000 or 100 rounded corners, just make sure it's fully rounded. And then we can auto lay out this bad boy like that. And we can maybe stick that down there. Maybe we can get some logos going across the bottom, I think. Trusted by, you know, loads of businesses. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Let's auto lay out these. Nice. So immediately, this is like a pretty good hierarchy of a page, right? So we need to do something on the right because our brief is half and half. We're going to need a logo in the top left. We're not obviously going to be designing a logo here, and we're going to need some nav links. So let's do something like our services. So people might want to know, do you do our tax reporting? I don't know much about accounting. Do you do our VAT return? That's something I know that we have to do. Corporation tax, all this kind of stuff. And what we could do, thinking ahead, is use the Webflow CMS to create service-based pages for each of these. So if somebody is Googling VAT specialists in London, right, one of our service pages could have an H1 of exactly that. And then we can do the same for corporation tax and whatever else there is. So maybe we do something like that with a little, we'll put a little drop down icon next to it. About Us is a classic for a boring company like this. And let's do clients. Might be nice if they've got 700 clients, 600 clients. They probably don't. If they do, we could have like a massive logo wall of all of their fancy clients maybe. We're going to want to contact us. Whoops. Contact button, and then I think we'll just put this hire us button up here again. Whoops, let's just grab that out of there. And right, so we need to auto lay out these guys. We're going to align them to the right, and I'm going to put 32 pixels padding between them. Nice. You see, we're looking pretty good. And then it needs a company name over here, which can be, can we have a pun on accounts? I'm not very good at this. Accountable. Nice. And then maybe we can do London, UK, just so we've got a little bit more to work with. And maybe we can put a bar here. Nice. Maybe we can auto lay out these, get them a bit closer. Maybe we can drop the weight of this down. Accountable London. Nice. Okay. Right. So we've got our nav bar. Now, what you can do, here's a design decision, maybe we decide later, we can chuck our guides back on, and we can either line our nav bar up so it sits inside our container and it looks quite nice. And you know, this is what I'd probably do first. And then what happens quite a lot is, as we're designing or as we're wireframing, we kind of think, actually, do you know what, we need about 20 links up here. So we have to change the menu. Maybe we have to do an expandable menu or a double layered navigation or something. And sometimes it's nicer just to kind of have this stuff stuck to the side of the screen. So as the screen expands, the nav bar elements expand to the side, but we keep our content centered in the container is an option. So I'm going to run with that for now. So I'm going to grab the left and right group, auto layout. I'm going to set it to a fixed width of 1440. I'm going to give it some top and bottom padding, 24, I guess. And then left and right, I'm going to go 56. And then I'm going to double click here, space between. And then I can select it, center it, and pop it at the top. So this is looking pretty cool. And as I design, I kind of get somewhere I'm happy. Then I duplicate a page. And now let's start thinking about imagery. So I downloaded a bunch of really crap stock imagery like this. Now, you, in theory, should be working with somebody who's doing your branding Your company should have a bunch of images on file, or your branding person may have built a suite of assets or worked with an illustrator or photographer or videographer to give you the assets to go here. We're just speeding through this, so we don't. We're probably going to use a photo. I also grabbed some illustrations, and these are all just a bit too obvious and generic. And there's some kind of 3D stuff here. I don't think this is going to work like this, but then this, the problem with this one, if we drag this on and put it in, it's not really going to create that half and half split that I'm looking for. So we'll just whack it in here, and it's just so junior. I don't like it. I can't see a client ever going for this. They would be like, you know, I'm being very stereotypical here, but you know, we love accounting and numbers, so we can't have a child's drawing on here, you know. Whereas actually, if we have a photo, maybe with some diversity, maybe with a person of color or some ladies in there, that might be nice. Here we go. So this is perfect, right? So we'll whack this in here for now, and then this is something we can discuss with the client when we run through them. We say, you know, we can put a shot in here. What we don't want to put in here is 6 white guys in their 50s, right? That's not what we want. So we've got image in here, right? This is what we're working with. Let's think about color. I also think this logo thing is not going to work, so I'm just going to delete it for now. Let's pull these guys down. Let's get our grids on. Let's make this 1440 divided by 2. Align it to the right, align it to the bottom. Put it down. There we go. So I think this kind of works, right, as a layout. Obviously, we've got a bit of a spacing issue here, so let's solve that first. We know we've got 2 auto layouts. We've got like the outer wrapper, and then we've got this one as an inner wrapper. So what I'm thinking is we're going to add, we'll make this go to here, so it hits the edge of the image, and then we'll add some padding on the right, and that's how we would develop it. So what we need to do first is make sure the things inside are set to fill their container. So that auto layout, which has the 2 bits of text, is now filling, and we want to select these 2 bits of text and fill them. So another thing we can do is double click to select that, hit enter on our keyboard. That selects everything inside that frame. We can set these both to fill container, and then we can grab this whole container and we can just give it some right padding of maybe 80. Yes. Deselect and have a look at what we're working with. So that looks all right, although this might be nice to get this onto 3 lines if we can. So we run the numbers, you run the company. Snappier, quicker to read, says the same message. So to me, that's an improvement. I'm going to bring the letters a bit closer here. -2% looks okay for now. But again, this is probably something that your branding designer would tell you. They'd say, they'd give you some rules for your typography, wouldn't they? So we'll leave that like that. That's fine. So we're looking good, right? Let's get some color in here and then figure out what to do with the logos. So in terms of color, what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to grab the frame and then I'm going to use Figma's selection colors down here. So I'm never going to use true black ever. So I'm going to pull something up a little bit lighter, maybe something like that. And what that's doing is just changing everything that is selected as black. As I drag this around, you can see everything's changing in one. So that's great. And this is fine for just like a concept. If we're doing a proper design, we would, you know, load up our starter template like this. We'd fill in all of the brand colors. We'd set them as styles. We'd create our button system, create our icon system, etc. But for now, not worth it. This is something where we'd go, you know, we've designed 3 quick options. How does it look? So we've got a nicer black. And then if we just change the gray to like a brand color, that might pretty much solve the whole design, right? So we've got 2 different grays. So if I just paste that in there, we should now have 1 gray. Yep, we've now got 1 gray. So accounting, colors. Let's go. Money, green. Here we go. Nailed it. Something around here for now. So I'm just doing this by eye. Again, you would just be given your branding, right? So you would know what color to plug in. This already, to me, this already works as a hero. It's professional, it's clean, it's straight to the point. It's got a good H1. It's got a strong call to action. It's got double social proof immediately. So you land here, you know exactly what they do, where they're based. You can see that they're going to have a bunch of services. If we put a chevron icon there as well, it's going to suggest, hey, we can have a drop-down menu and we can see all of the things they do without even needing to scroll or click anywhere. You can just hover over it. Trusted by loads of businesses. Oh, these guys are legit. They've been around forever. Or, you know, this could be, you know, we've been working together since 1902, you know, and you're like, oh, wow, if they're 120 years old, they know what they're doing. So looking good. I think we need maybe some logos here. So instead of having them all across, maybe we could have like a little grid like this. Duplicate that, auto layout this and give this 12 as well. That could work. Maybe starting to get a little bit busy, but we'll put some logos in a second and see. And then a quick note on color. If you're a freelancer or you're a junior and you're just working by yourself, it's a really good idea to just have banks of colors saved. So what I have on my Instagram account, which I'm not going to show you now, but we'll perhaps put another video out on it if you guys are interested. Let us know in the comments. But I have sort of a collection of photos saved on Instagram of colors that I like. And this could be photos that people have taken where I want to grab some colors out of nature. It could be loads of sort of UI design channels that I follow. And they've put in like banks, you know, and they put like 5 colors that look really nice together. So I save all those. I've got hundreds of those. So I would probably scan through that, have a look and see which ones have got like a green close to this that I quite like. And then I could pinch those colors. Because another thing here is that this is all set on pure white, which I don't really like. It can be a bit intense, especially on a really big, bright display. So I'd quite like to dim that down a little bit. So I'm going to grab the fill, or actually what we'll do is we'll do it with selection colors. So anywhere where there is pure white, we're just going to drag this down a little bit. So most people won't notice, but that's just softened it a little bit. So we've got slightly softer black, slightly softer gray. Makes it feel a little bit less intense in your face. So we're looking good. So we need to add in services drop-down icon, and we need to add in some logos. So I'm going to hit Command / to search, and I'm going to search for icon. So we've got feather icons, icon scout, iconify here. All good options. Feather icons, the free version is pretty good. It's a bit basic, but you've got your basic stuff like arrows and chevrons, and you can literally just search for chevron. Here's one. When you click on it, it just sort of goes randomly in a frame that doesn't actually land on your page. So it's really annoying. You have to drag it out to the side and then drag it back in. Right, I'm just going to cut that, paste it in my nav bar. And what we want to do is we want to select these 2 items, auto layout these, and get them a lot closer together. 4, sorry about that noise, it's telling me I've got a meeting soon, got to hurry up, and that's pasted that in as black. So I'm going to copy this 2020 code, paste it in there. That solved that. So that now looks good. So we're just suggesting, hey, hover over this and you're going to see a list of everything we do immediately. Go to what's relevant to you, or, you know, just hire us. Big green button is always good. Green means go, and it also means money. Right, logos. We have a great plugin, Logo Ipsum, which cool. I don't have it anymore, so that's good. Plugins. We go find more plugins. Let's go Logo Ipsum. Here it is. Run. Hello. Here it comes. Right, what have we got? I don't really want colored ones at this stage, but that's fine. We can fix that. So I'm going to drag this guy. Can I drag? Do I click? I click. And then I click again. Nice. Let's grab some logos. And what we do is then we sort of present it to the client and we say, hey, what are your logos? Oh my goodness. Oh, for goodness sake, right, you need to make sure you're deselected before you click on another one. That's good to know. This one looks nice, nice jazzy one there. So we've got 4. I think we can just work with 4 for now. So let's just pop them in the line. I'm just going to sort of create my frame over here first. Let's make sure that their height is quite small. Let's go 30 max height, I think. Now, and that one looks a bit big, but we'll adjust that in a minute. Let's set space between like that, and then let's just drag this in here. We actually had 3, didn't we? So let's delete one. Let's just drag one out. We've got 3 here. Let's pull in our frame. Let's duplicate this. Let's just change the order a bit, and let's grab this guy, put him in here, get rid of one of them, make this guy a bit smaller. So I'm going to grab K, my scale tool. Now, if we were doing this properly, what we want to be doing is we want to be creating a frame for each logo. And we'd say it was like that size. We would set a size, maybe we'd go 100 by, let's go 100 and let's do something divisible by 4, right? It's 104 by 40. What we do is we pop our logos in here, make sure they all fit inside this. So we go like this. So you see that's filling the width, but not the height. And then we'd go again and we'll delete this one. We're going to go grab one like this, which is probably going to fill the height rather than the width. So if we make this a bit bigger, well, I mean, that pretty much fills the exact space. And then this way, this stops any from being too big or too small. Although I'd probably just pull this one down a little bit like this. And we kind of try and get them all the right size before we present this to the client. But for now, I'm kind of happy with this, although this guy is annoying me. Maybe let's just delete that icon out of there. And let's tidy up this frame a bit like this, just to make it look a little bit different. So thoughts on the logos. I think they're too busy. Actually, I might at this point say, do you know what? Let's pop these logos on the client's page and let's see what we can do to fix this space. Do we even need to fix anything in this space? So if we delete them, like this, we can kind of pop this down here to lead the eye down to say, hey, you're going to scroll down here. Maybe what we could do is we could have something else peeking out the bottom. So maybe we have another image. Maybe we have a smaller image over here, and it's something that kind of suggests, hey, there's something down here. So, you know, keep exploring the website. You know, you don't need to put like a big arrow that says scroll down, because people know how to use websites. It's 2023. That's another pet peeve of mine. So what we can do is we can pop another image in here. Let's see what we got in our little folder. Oh, calculator. So basic. Let's grab this guy. I like the plant. Why not? And again, like, we would just kind of throw these images in and we'd say to the client, hey, what if, you know, share your images with us and we'll sort it out. So I think let's get this guy in like this. Let's get it on the page and then let's peek it down here. And then this could be, you know, the start of the next section, and then like perhaps the next section might, yeah, it gives us some opportunity to create some like interesting layouts here where we're breaking out of the grid a bit, you know, and then that could be our H2 size, which might be 6, something like this. And we can end up having a really interesting layout. But for now, I think that's good. I think that's a very professional hero. I hope you agree. It's quite basic. Yes, there's not too much design flair going on here, but there doesn't need to be. The most important thing about a website is that it works, it converts, it loads fast, its title tags are correct, it's easy to navigate, and the user knows like exactly what they're supposed to do. They come here and they know, okay, I can just obviously contact them or book a meeting straight away. What do our clients say? Oh, they've got loads of testimonials. That's good. They're trusted. I can see all of their services. They're diverse. Interesting. I know I've got to scroll down. I can see the name of the company. Job done. Doesn't need to be any more than that. I hope you've enjoyed this. Maybe we'll get more creative in the next one. So have a go yourself. leave a link to your prototype down in the description. And to do that, all you need to do is just grab your frame. I would clean up my file as well, so I don't need these anymore. They're no use to me. I'm going to get rid of those. I'm going to grab this frame. I'm going to click the little play button here, and it's going to create a prototype. And it doesn't matter, I haven't done any animation on this. It's very rarely useful. And I'm going to grab share prototype, copy link, and then you can just paste that in the video description. We'll have a look, we'll give you some feedback. Hopefully some other people will have a look and give you feedback. We'll get a whole thing going. And if this series is well received, we'll do all sorts of different sections from websites. Maybe we'll do a full website or a full homepage design challenge or something like that. As always, if there's anything you want to know, just ask us in the comments. We'll try and be as responsive as we can. And I look forward to seeing your work and seeing you in the next video, and I hope you learned something. Bye.